Happy. All right, people, how's everybody doing out there today? Hope you're having a great Saturday today. Today is April 11th. It's a significant day today in the video drawing contest. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, the man, the myth, the legend, in his cream peach looking jumper. Looks fire on him. James, all the way from South London. How you doing, buddy? What's going on?
Pretty in pink. I make anything work. I know this is really gut wrenching for all you fellas out there, that talk about masculinity. You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, I'm rocking the pink. I don't care.
Yeah, well, you gotta. Hey, if it looks good, it looks good. There's no argument to that, man.
It's a nice summer color, isn't it?
It's
funny, right?
Yeah, it's Easter, right? It's April. We just had Easter. It's a spring. Spring showers, Mayflowers, all that goodness. You got to have the pastels out. That doesn't make you soft or anything like that. The taking up the ass makes you a little bit soft. And then
I got called gay once. Can you believe that? Right, I was in Eastbourne and I'm just walking around Eastbourne, right, and it was in the day, like before people were out in the clubs. And some lippy kid there was like three of them, and they were all like chavvy and tracksuited up, which I liked, right? And I was with like two birds and another bloke, right? And these birds weren't too shabby, right? And and I've got a bright pink shirt on. It was Ted Baker. I had a bright pink Ted Baker shirt on, right? Because it's the summer. I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
And I had the little like swim shorts on. You know what I mean? I had the little swim shorts on, so I had all like the frog's legs out. And he goes to me, he goes, oh, like he shouts really loud. And all these old age pensioners, because Eastbourne's like full of like old people, and he's like, they all look around, and I'm like, dude, look at me. Do I look like a gay guy? I'm with women. And they go, yeah, that's what all the gay guys say. And I'm like, oh, drop me out, mate. Serious.
Yeah.
You can't be like that. It'd be like canary yellow, light blues. They're all the good summer colours. Get into it. It's fun.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, how come the gay people get to steal the rainbow anyway, man? What's up with that?
They stole all the fun stuff, all the bright colours. What am I supposed to do in the summer? Go around in black and grey?
Yeah, facts, bro. Let me jump down in the chat and say hello to all you beautiful heathens out there. Of course, we got DJ John, Miami John out there. Let's fucking go. I think he's out there kicking some ass. Seashell, SoCal. Shout out to you. Good to see you. Hobo Chili Recipe 07. Salute. Draw Zombie. Woo! He says Ric Flair's hair. Let's fucking go. Big B.
Does he draw zombies?
Yeah, I don't know. Zombie draw. Do you draw zombies? Draw zombie? We'd love to know. Have you drawn your veto yet? We got Big B Trucker. Shout out to you, bro. Hope you're hauling something good and being safe out on the road there today. Schnauzer Max. Let's fucking go, bruvs. Let's fucking bro. That's what I've been saying lately. Let's fucking bro. King Yeti. How the heathens. I just stole your tagline, King Yeti. Howdy, heathens. Let's fucking go. Adonis Paul. Is that really Adonis Paul in the chat? Let's go ahead and give him a round of applause. He's one of the friends of the show, as we like to say.
Is he really an Adonis, though? I mean, that's a lot of braggadocio, isn't it? Adonis Paul. I mean, is he really an Adonis?
Yeah, he is, bro. Have you seen his cartoons? They're fantastic. That man is a legend. Adonis Paul. Shout out to you. 100%. Go watch Adonis Paul on YouTube and Rumble. Late nights. I catch that quite often when I'm drawing. It's fantastic. Absolutely love that fucking guy and love that show. Let's fucking go. Hillbilly Harry, a real man wear pink is what he's saying out there. And he would know. He's a real man. He's got a son who's competing to make it to the 2028 Olympics, bro. In judo. You don't get much more of a real man than that. And I met this guy.
He's going to kick Vladimir Putin's ass.
Yeah, I met Hillbilly Harry in real life. And I met his son in real life. Did an interview. Go check it out if you want to see it. They are big guys. I tell you, bro, if you had them rolling with you in the bar, I'm not lying, James. They're about 6'5". They're big fellas. And I think, I'm not sure how much Jared weighs. He's like 250 or something like that. He is a big fella. You got that guy with you. Nobody is going to fuck with you. And he's a black belt in judo. That motherfucker can, I don't know. Yeah, he'll give Putin a run for his money. That's for sure. Putin,
they're going to make me and D-Wag look like something out of Lord of the Rings, aren't they?
Yeah, make you guys look like hobbits.
No, can you imagine that? We strut in giving it all the big, and we go into the bar and we're like, all right, girls, how you doing? And then these two fucking giants come behind us, and it's like, we look like they're fucking kids or something.
No, you're 100% right. And also, Jared's a big fella. He's a good-looking guy, too, good-looking young guy.
Nah.
I'm sure he's crushing it with the ladies doing this judo thing, competing for the Olympics. Yeah, when I had him over to the house, we got him in the studio. He barely fit in my house, bro. That's how big that guy was, man. Big fella. So we got Pat saying tough guys wear pink 100%. Let's see. We got King Yeti says he wears dashes of pink, too. No harm, no foul. I think a real man just does what a real man wants to do. He doesn't listen to what other people say. If it looks good, you do it. You throw a little turquoise in there too. Let's fucking go. Let's see what he says. He says it's Hillbilly Harry says it's not gay when you do it to show dominance on losers. Boom, 100% right there. Completely agree. Neon Pink King Yeti says is objectively a fire collar to wear in the summer. Neon Pink is fire, bro. 100%. Draw Zombie says he doesn't draw zombies ironically. Draw Zombie, how'd you come with that name then? You like to draw? Or maybe are you a zombie that also draws? That's
Has someone done a zombie veto yet? Because that would be pretty sweet. That would.
Yeah, zombie veto. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. We got Adonis Paul. It is him. He gives the old wave. Shout out to you, Adonis Paul. AP's the man, 100%. Big B Trucker says he's done fresh tortilla chips today. Man, if you're out there having a good time, it's a beautiful spring day out here today. We got the sun out here. Go get yourself some chips and salsa. Draw Zombie said he did draw veto though. Oh, bro, you're a legend, dog. You a motherfucking legend. Let's see here. We got Hillbilly Harry says Jared's at the Senior Nationals next month. We'll be shouting him out, reposting that if we can watch that. Carrie C says, "Yay, boys, 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 boys." 100%. King Yeti says, "Fun fact: Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu comes from judo." That's true. That's 100% true. And I think it comes from Japan as well, not Brazil. King Yeti says, "Love turquoise." Carrie C says, "If anyone has a throwaway Twitter account, let me know. I have a Looney Troon who needs to be corrected." Okay, well, somebody gonna lay down the law out there. Draw Zombie says, "I am a zombie who draws indeed." So we solved that riddle. Draw Zombie is in fact a zombie. Let's fucking go. All right, well, we got that out of the way. Shout out to all the beautiful people in the chat. That's what we do this for. You beautiful motherfuckers out there in the chat. Let's fucking go. Let me jump through these announcements real quick, okay? Number one announcement that we got. Sorry, James, I'm going to do this real quick. We got our boy Connor, Culture Vulture, on X, going through a bit of a mishap, okay? He had a little bit of that colon cancer, got it cut out. He's got a GoFundMe going while he recovers. And this poor fella's lost some weight. I just talked to him today. He said he hasn't had an appetite for quite a while, and that he finally went to the diner today, James, and had himself a big Kentucky Fried. What is it? What is that? When you cook fry a beef or a chicken? Chicken fried steak. That's what it was. He had a chicken fried steak and a couple of pancakes. So he's
like a steak Milanese if you're Argentinian or something.
Yeah, steak Milanese. So he's trying to get his appetite back, trying to come back from the brink, cutting his colon cancer out and all that bad stuff.
Well, all the best to him. Good luck to you, pal.
Yeah. If you got a couple of bucks, $1 as merch says, go ahead and drop that on his GoFundMe if you can. And if you can't, just reshare it. Share it out, tweet it out, whatever, and let somebody else, maybe could. Help them out. Carrie C, you can. She's asking, where can I? How do I give a link? Oh, just drop it to me in my on my X, Carrie, and I'll throw it up or whatever. Okay. So anyway, go ahead and check that out. The GoFundMe for Connor to try to help him. He's at 10,000. He's at 72% raise for his goal of 15,000 while he's out of work trying to recover. He's got his adoring wife helping him through that recovery, which is really, really special. So we really appreciate that. So shout out to them. Good luck to you guys. Okay, we want you guys to recover and get back to good. So Carrie C, if you got a link, just drop it to me, my X or whatever, and we'll go ahead and throw that up there. Then the next one, James, is the veto drawing contest. It's coming to a close today. Today at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time is the last opportunity you have to get an entry in. James, you had 2 entries. You even sent it to me all the way over here. It's fantastic. I got it right here somewhere. I'm going to put it up as soon as I can.
Yeah, so you can bung me in the back of the book, mate. That was what it was all about. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've got to get it out there. I was saying to my folks, I said, look, could you imagine a div like me being a published artist? That would be hilarious, I said. So I was like, get it sent over there. See, make it happen.
No,
make it happen.
You're 100% right. And we'll get that scanned and try to make that happen. So the veto contest ends at 11:59 p.m. tonight. Get your submissions in by tagging me on X for the veto contest. And Well, our judging will be next week. We're going to have Ethan Van Sciver and Dick Masterson, as well as myself, judge that. I got the Golden Vetoes. They're in transit right now. Ben from Based Art Department, he sent them to me with a full military motorcade. They're on their way, being protected so that nobody jumps in there. No Jason Statham's try to steal it, try to hijack my convoy. So we got that coming. We're really excited about that. Then also we have the, let me pull this up real quick, the SUPERKILLERs at Fund My Comic. The SUPERKILLERs, go ahead and go back that. That's our latest offering for the comic book. Me, myself, and I, and Johnny Rocket and Riley have put this together. We're at 65 backers today. We're trying to get to 100 backers. That's what I'm excited about. So go back it, or you know what? If you've already backed it, I appreciate it and I thank you. If you haven't backed it and money's tight, don't worry about it. Just if you could share that out for me on X, I'd really appreciate that, because every backer counts, because this is a lot of fun, and we already did a whole bunch of goals that got accomplished. We got it launched. We got Vito to send his book to the printer, which I'm really excited about. But here pretty soon, in the next day or two, we've got a cover from Vasilis Lolos that's going to pop up, and his cover, and then we got a cover coming from.
It's going to be eccentric.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And we got a cover coming from Ebi Canales. He's going to pop up he's a bruv. He's on the show quite often. We love that guy. Is
he back from the food tour yet? Or is he still going?
No, he finally got back yesterday, I think, or the day before. And he's over there in Spain. And we're going to talk about Spain in a little bit, talking about the immigration problem and the laws they just passed that allowed the immigrants to stay over there. How about that? So that's pretty crazy. Then my final announcement is on James, South London James voice on Nightwave Radio. When you go ahead and use supertip.gg/merch, use the South London James voice. That's modeled after our guy right here, James from South London. What do you think about that, James? That's pretty fire. I hear you talk. I hear your voice all the time when I'm watching that. Well, I'll be drawn, and then I hear James's voice. I'm like, oh, there's James. So it tickles my tickles my liver a little bit. What do you think about that?
I love it, mate. It's hilarious. It's like, I go, look at me, Mom, top of the world. I mean, if you could my favorite show, I'm part of the show. People have fun with it, and it's making merch money, which I'm all for. I love it. You know what I mean? I don't mind if people take the piss. I don't know how I like it. I like that they have a laugh with it, because I think it's a pretty unique voice to have on there. You know what I mean? It's a pretty unique super tip, and it's like Mersh went to the effort of really ironing it out. It sounds exactly like me now. I have to do like a double take when I hear it. It's like kind of like, it's cool, kind of creepy. It's like, fuck me, that sounds like me. I tell you. They're going to be scamming the arse out of me now, aren't they? I'm going to get all these bills come through the door. It's like, I don't remember having that credit card or ordering that thing. What the fuck?
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. I like hearing it. I like, it's fun, man. That's what we're trying to do here. And it's not performative fun either, James. It's the real deal. It's like when people try to pretend like it's, have you ever been to a party, James, where everybody was hyping it up? You go to the party and it fucking sucks dick. And you're sitting there and they got, I don't know, terrible beer, terrible alcohol. No, everybody's like all anxious and stuff. And it's not fun at all. And everybody tries to pretend like they're having fun, but it's not fun. Have you been like that?
Isn't that Hackamania?
Yeah. Bro, Hackamania right now.
The biggest damn squid in the history of online entertainment, mate.
Yeah, man. What's going on with Hackamania? It's pretty rough.
I don't know.
We'll get into that in a second. But no, it's a lot of fun hearing your voice on there, and I have a good time. We also got D-Wagon Zaid, and they're making a whole bunch of cartoons, and you're one of them. South London James is one of the cartoons, so that's pretty cool. It's going to be in some of their animations that they got coming on.
I hope I get involved in a lot of online scrapes. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Carrie C says she tried to send James a DM on Twitter to let everybody know, but it won't go through. Honestly think that her account is banned for something, full ban hammer. Well, that's terrible.
I'll check it out. I'll try, when we get off this stream, I'll send you something and see if it works on my end.
Okay. Okay, fire. She says she's on Instagram too. Harry says it really does sound like James too. King Yeti says James's voice sounds more like James than Mersh's voice does. Yeah, bro, that's true, because Mersh has his character on there. Yours sounds all very, very close, whereas Mersh kind of doesn't sound like him. It kind of does.
But I think, to be fair, like Mersh tinkered with it, didn't he? Ironed it out, and I really appreciate it, because I think when it first came on, people were saying, "Oh, it wasn't really like me," and you kind of like think, "Oh, fucking hell, I hope this don't fall flat," because it's good for us, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like networking. It's getting out there. People know you. People know your face. It's how you grease the wheels, isn't it? And you know, it's good for me. It's good that it's on my favourite show. I like it. It's fun. It's hilarious. But I don't like being in such close proximity to Ethan Ralph. You know what I mean? There's a me and there's an Ethan Ralph. I never thought I'd be in a world where I was in touching distance of Ethan Ralph.
Yeah, you might get a few bed bugs. You got to watch out. I hear they speak Spanish. He got some of them Spanish bed bugs. Pat says it does sound like James. Hobo Chili Recipe says, I'm going to use this James's voice, and before you know it, he's going to be wanted by Interpol. Yeah. Yeah, we got to watch out for that.
That's how it's all going to end, mate. They're going to be storming down my door. I'll be streaming at the time, and I'll be like, it's not me, Gov.
Yeah, bro, it's AI, man. It's AI. We got King Yeti says, Mersh's super tip voice sounds just like Sam Hyde. Yeah, it kind of does. He doesn't really have the same cadence that Mersh does, which is why I'm glad that Mersh tinkered with your voice, because he got it almost dead on. It sounds a lot like you, and it's kind of fun to hear. And I'll be like, oh, there's James. Oh, there's James. Oh, there, and you're right.
I hope he earns a shitload of money out of it. That'd be even because, like, when people eventually start hating on me really badly, I'll be like, yeah, but look how much money Mersh made off my voice, mate. Look.
It's funny because he was saying that yours was the first voice he actually had to pay for on a month. He has to pay $5 monthly, but he's already made like way over that. He might have already made the money for the year just using your voice, which is fantastic. Bro, what about that Hackmania? I saw there was that Ethan Ralph and them and Scarlett are there. They're staying in a hotel motel. I saw that Mersh posted recently some of the very funny Twitters or tweets about the motel, the reviews. Let's see if I can't find a couple of those. But what's going on with that? They're not even going to make it to Hackmania. Did you see that?
It's just fucking. She's totally absorbed Ethan Ralph's personality. If there was ever any light left in her eyes, it's completely gone now. All she ever talks about, she's like the world's worst white nationalist. You know what I mean? It's all the Jews and porn. That's all you ever get from her now. Every time she goes on there, she just parrots what Ethan Ralph has said throughout his career. You know what I mean? And then he's going, all I ever heard from him last night was like black dick. You know, you go black dick. It was like black dick fisting. So it's fisting, black dick, right? And this is the thing, right? Ethan Ralph has railed against that his entire life. You know what I mean? Interracial relationships, you know, and yet he's potentially going to marry a woman that's had more black dick than they Spaniards over there. Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know how he squares the circle. Yeah. He's like such a desperado to cling on to any like kind of online relevance that he'll take any integrity that he's got left or anything that he's ever stood on, and he'll flush it down the toilet for a woman who he really shouldn't be giving the time of day to, the way he feels about women. You know, he's a straight up misogynist. He wouldn't. He said he wouldn't be with a woman that's been with a load of black guys. Well, she's been more black guys than a fucking basketball team. You know what I mean? It's like crazy.
Yeah, I think that's
mad. I don't get it all. I just don't get Ralph. I don't get him.
That's the thing we were just talking about: absolute morality versus relative morality. And I think that's the problem I have with nerdy people. Most nerdy people have this relativistic moral take on everything, where they'll switch it up. They'll whatever's bringing them money, they'll stay with that, and then they'll switch it up. And that's a big reason why I like Mersh. Mersh is an absolute moralist. You know, he's defending Kino Casino right now with what's his name, boring Jeremy from the Quarter
Jeremy
Pounder.
The Quartering.
Yeah, the boring Jeremy doing a copyright strike, and here Mersh is defending him. You know, he's not a big fan of the Kino Casino with all those guys, but he's defending him because he's sticking to his principles. That's what I appreciate. Where you have Ethan Ralph going against everything he said in the past about all that race mixing stuff, black dick, all that shit. Oh, I guess that's all fine now. I guess he's gonna marry this lady and have kids with her now. I guess none of it. I guess everything he was selling was just performative. What are your thoughts on that, James?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you take Melanie Mack, right? You get the Quartering, right? And he's going around slagging off all these birds, right? But then he's got Melanie Mack, who's this performative Christian. I mean, and then she's going around saying, because like I think she blocked Mary's Punch account. I think she blocked Mary's Punch account, and it's like, you are the biggest hypocrite. You're like a faux Christian. You're selling Christianity to idiots, right, online. That's what you're doing. And Jeremy, he employs every woman he can lay his hands on. When that bird got chucked out of Timcast, he got that one with the long face, didn't he? Horse-faced bird. What's her name? He got, he immediately employed her. And there's loads of like rumours about him, innit? The way he's with women, his proximity to women, the way he maybe does he sleaze with them, doesn't he sleaze with them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he starts going on about, they're doxing my family, they're coming after my family. Dude, you have to stand on your principles like I stood on mine. My mother was getting, through my account, was getting some of the worst fucking AI abuse you could possibly imagine. You saw it.
Yeah.
They took a photo that I took with her when we went to Aylsham to get tattoos, and she was by this tree, and they turned it that she was being like sexually abused, sexually harassed by a load of Muslim men, and they kept coming at me with like that. And I said to you, Ray, I'm going to completely ignore them. Yeah. I'm not going to give them any oxygen, good, bad. I'm not going to react. And, you know, they went away because they knew they couldn't fuck with me like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I stood on my principles. I never blocked them. I never banned them. I never grasped them. I've never done anything like that. I've never blocked, banned, or grasped on anyone. I would never. It doesn't matter what you do, how low you go. I will never report any of your online accounts.
I agree with that, but you might have to block them. I've had to block a couple.
Yeah, people. Maybe. I'm not saying you shouldn't block people. I'm just saying I've never blocked or muted anyone.
Yeah.
People can see, you know, I let people have free reign. People disagree with me all the time, and I'm like, I'm not going to fall out with you, mate. I like you. Your Sanders a pound. We can't agree on everything. Don't let this be a J.K. Rowling situation. Now, I don't agree with J.K. Rowling politically. I'm totally opposed to her. She would think I was a far right white nationalist, but she is very left wing in all of her opinions, including Scottish independence. Yeah. She's very left wing. She always votes Labour. She stands with all of those people that are giving her a hard time on 99.9% of the issues. But because she's pro-woman, pro-women's safety, pro-women in sports, they have completely abandoned her. They trash her online, all because they fall out over one thing. And I won't do that with people. I will never fall out with you over differences of opinion. Because if we all agreed, it would be a boring fucking world, wouldn't it?
Yeah, facts, bro. The thing is that, you know, that's very much a feminist way of thinking. You know, you have to agree with the hive mind or you get cut out and shunned. And you don't want to be like that. That's why societies are built on masculine thought processes, because they're absolute moralists, so that everything could be stable. Women are fantastic at raising children and doing whatever it takes to make sure that their children's needs are met. That's why women have more of a relativistic morality center. Also, you know, back in the day when women had to go through wars and stuff like that, and if their country lost, you know, they couldn't just die. They had to go on, you know. So what they do, they went and they married the men of the people that came, that took over their country. That's just what happened. That's just what happened all through history. But, you know, I definitely have noticed that this online world is a relative moralistic place, you know, and it's very few masculine people, very few, you know, absolute moralist people. You know, you look at the whole red pill situation. And one very interesting thing that happened recently was how Andrew Tate was doxing Sneako's family, his personal family. And nobody stood up for Sneako and told Andrew Tate to knock it off. You know, Myron, who this Mr. Red Pill, Mr. Integrity, Mr. Loyal to a fault, never stood up and said, hey, Andrew, you've gone too far. You know, like sometimes you have to tell your bros that, like, hey, back off a little bit. And he never did that. So it kind of shows that this whole thing is kind of a sham online. And they're trying to, you see this clavicular guy saying, basically throw away your entire life to what is it? To Looksmax right now. Take Trend, take TRT, take all this stuff when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, so that you have cancer and all of your organs fail when you hit 35. What are you going to do after that? You know what I'm saying, James? What are you going to do?
What was it? He was on, like, it's all fake bullshit, isn't it? But he was on a date with Woe Vicky, wasn't he? And he said, oh, yeah, my dick doesn't work.
Yeah, he said that. He said
that to Woe Vicky. She just looked at him like this. I know, who is it? John Teeter thinks she's a retard, thinks she's an idiot. But, like, if we just park that, she was like, she didn't know what to say. She was just like, Okay, your dick doesn't work. But I think what I find is it's very much a cult of personality, isn't it? If you develop a parasocial relationship with an online personality, say someone develops it with you, right? Say someone develops it with Mersh, they will forgive them almost any discretion. They will forgive you. You haven't done anything bad. Your Ray Ray's happy. You know, you're universally liked. But say you weren't. Say you were Ray Ray's miserable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you were preaching like, don't dox. And then you suddenly started doxing. You watch the comments. Everyone that's your fan, everyone that likes you, will find a way to rationalize it in their head. Will find a way to forgive you. Will find a way to say it's very much like politics. You know, we see things. I've spoken out about Trump recently, and there's some people that can't accept that because you know Trump is kind of like their god. They believe in Trump wholeheartedly. They believe that he shouldn't have no truck. There should be no criticism. And I've said he's made a right fucking mess of this Iran thing. You know, it's a right shit show. And people have blown back on me because of that, because they're very much entrenched. It's very much like the democratic left wing mentality. They are very much ideologically driven to the point where they will do things that they call out the other side on. You know what I mean? It will be all right for them to do it, but they will call out Donald Trump or Republicans or, in my country, conservatives for doing it. And this is how people rationalize it. They're very ideologically driven. And I try to be very like moral driven in like, look, this is my path, you know, I tend to stay on that path. If you're with me, you're with me. I ain't gonna snake Ray, I ain't gonna snake John, I ain't gonna snake any of the people that come on, you know, D-Wag, Zage, you're my guys. You'll always be my guys from the start to when we end this and we finish this race, you know, however far we go, or when we all break up and go our separate ways. You know what I mean? I'm going to be with you guys, whether we make it or we don't make it. You know, it's going to be our thing together.
Yeah.
And that's the way I'm going to, I said to you, didn't I? Because I'm 7 hours ahead.
Yeah.
I go to bed, right? And when I wake up, the tectonic plates have shifted.
Yeah.
Everyone who was a pal is no longer a pal. They're now at war with each other. So I was pals with this guy, right?
Yeah.
But now they're not pals with the other guy. I'm in a feud that I was never even involved in because they go, well, you've got to pick a side.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm not involved in this shit, mate. I didn't get in a row. That's your two.
Yeah.
I like both of you. I'm not going to pick a side. Well, you have to. And you're going to have to. And I'm like, mate, you're putting me in you're jamming me up here at a situation I don't want to be in.
No, you're right. You're right. And that's the difference between men's social structure and women's social structure. When women fall out with each other in their social structure, they avoid conflict and try to shun the other person. When men fall out with each other, they try to rectify it and bring that person back into good standing so the group can be whole again. And that's what I want. That's what I want here. And the online space is not like that. That's why I don't want to kick out anybody. I don't, you know, that's why people are like, oh my God, how can you love Vito? I'm like, because Vito's interesting. You know, because Vito is something to talk about. I don't want to get rid of the things that we talk about. And then all of a sudden, nobody's talking about anything. It's boring shit. I don't want to kick Ethan Ralph out of the situation. I want to watch what happens when he goes to Hackamania with this crazy ass bitch Scarlett. I want to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying, James? I want to.
Do you know what I worry about? You know what I worry
What's
about?
that?
I worry about there being, whether you like Vito personally, put that to one side, whether you agree with him, the way he talks. But I worry about there being less Vitos and more Frog Tonys. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because Frog Tony went on the biggest problem in the universe and he got exposed by people that were more charismatic, were more professional. For me, professionalism is everything. You don't ever have to bring the problems online. There's plenty of DMs, there's chat rooms. You can do everything. Don't bring it. I never bring anything really off on. You know what I mean? And there's a level of professionalism. But Frog Tony is a guy that exposes everything. This fucker is an online grass. Well, he'll expose DMs. He'll hang you out to dry. He'll go on the biggest problem in the universe, and he'll try to equivocate. He'll try to put his case forward, and you'll just see him crumble and fall apart. And Vito's smart enough to be able to pick him apart. And when Dick's on Vito's side, he's untouchable. You know what I mean? They are like a machine. I told you, it used to be my favorite pod, biggest problem in the universe. And it was on its fucking knees. And I've noticed it started to pick up. It's not at that 20,000 that it was on YouTube.
Right.
I noticed it's around 7 or 8 at the moment, I think, views. So it's picking up. It's gathering speed. And there's a second arc there. If Vito can fucking lock in Be professional. Stop changing the day from Thursday, Friday, Thursday, fucking Friday. All he's got to do is turn up 4 times a month, isn't he? For a couple of hours. It's not even a couple of hours anymore. I think it goes about 1:30, 1:40. Just fucking do it. You know what I mean? It's in your own house now. You're not going in the studio. You sound, mate. You're going to be fine, and they're going to have a good pod again.
Yeah.
But I don't want. I noticed Frog Tony was EFAPing your interview with Mersh, wasn't he?
Yeah.
When you popped on Nightwave, Frog Tony was EFAPing it because it's interesting. You're an interesting character now on the rise. You're going on Nightwave. Mersh is an interesting character who's probably at the peak of his powers at the moment. You know what I mean? And Frog Tony's going to probably start. He's probably going to start EFAPing and picking away at us.
Yeah.
Because that's a new avenue for him. Because that's the type of guy he is.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're more interesting than anyone that's on his show.
Yeah.
We were from the jump. We got more charisma. We got more personality. We talk about more interesting stuff. We have better interaction with our chat. He's just kind of like this bottom feeder who's looking for the next big thing to leech off of.
Well, this is the difference between moral relativism and absolute relativism. Absolute can create. Moral relativism parasites. That's it right there. Frog Tony's not going to create his own content. He's going to take it off of other people. We're going to create our own content. We watch Mersh create his own content. We watch EVS create his own content. We're making things. That's what we want to do. We want to engage the audience. We want to deliver delight. We want to be fun. We want to be happy, not miserable. Let me jump in the chat real quick. He says, Schnauzer Max says, Ralph's first wife was Pakistani. Yeah, I think she was something like that. So I guess all of that is out the window, right? All of his jargon and taglines and, his philosophies were just out the window. King Yeti says he likes Trump until he didn't. He also says he liked Obama until he didn't. Miami John says, don't give him any ideas, James. We don't want Ray is miserable. Yeah, we don't want that. No. I've been miserable once in my life. I don't want to go back. That's for sure. We got anything else? No, that's pretty good. That's it. But no, you're 100% right, James. It's better if you're going to be a creator to be an absolute moralist. Then you can connect to the source. You can get creative ideas and bring them onto the space. I don't mind, criticizing other people and stuff like that. It's good for content, man. It's good. But when that becomes all that you do, it kind of gets it could get stale. That's kind of why I think EVS stopped doing Trashcast. I think it got a little stale for him. He wanted to move on, get back to creating, which is what he's doing right now. And he's doing a good job of it. Anything else you got to say about that?
Your chat has got a memory like an elephant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't stand on your principles, right, the chat is that they never forget. They remember everything you say, everything you do online. They watch your videos, they watch your live streams. And if you start speaking out of both sides of your mouth, if you start going against what brought you to the dance, they're going to be the first ones to pick up on it. And once you lose the audience, you lose everything. There's no getting it back. You know what I mean? It's a hard struggle. And Vito's going to find that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had it in the palm of his hand and he lost it because he stopped being professional.
Yeah.
But now he's going to try and dig his way and claw his way back to the top because Vito's not an idiot.
Yeah.
He knows he's onto a good thing. He knows he's in a good spot. And you don't want to this is no offense to anyone because I've got normal jobs. Everyone's got normal jobs. But you don't want to, if you don't have to, if you could do this for a living, and maybe D-Wag said it, he wants this to make it, he wants this to be his living. If you can make this your living, it's a pretty cushy job, isn't it? To come on stream, to talk, to interact with people, to have a good time, have a few drinks, enjoy, engage, provide entertainment for people who've lost faith in entertainment in the normal world, whether it's sport, whether it's movies, whether it's television. It's a different source, isn't it?
Yeah, I've lost. I can't watch normal TV anymore. It's hard for me to even sit through movies. It's hard for me to watch sports. I can't really watch football. I think it's rigged. It's hard for me to watch basketball now. I have lost. I can't even watch. I couldn't watch the news a long time ago, but damn, you can't watch the news regular TV. It's so formulaic and boring. And I wonder to myself, how are all these people watching this stuff? And it makes me really wonder. And they even say that when the boomers start dying off, that the old media system is going to be dead because nobody's going to be watching it. Right now, it's the boomers that are supporting that, James. Do you watch on TV over there? I know you probably have to pay that BBC TV license.
Yeah, not as much, really. It's With regards to my parents, I think it doesn't apply to everyone, but sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks, can you?
Yeah.
They've been with this their whole life, and they're going to ride it through to the end of their life. You know what I mean? BBC News, ITV News at 10 o'clock. It's a must watch.
Yeah.
This is the trusted media source. We've got to watch it, and we've got to get it from the horse's mouth, because we can't listen everything online. You know what I mean? It's all conspiracies and rubbish and garbage. That's how my parents feel.
Yeah.
So they will be at 10 o'clock, BBC News, ITV or GB News now, because it's got more of a right-wing slant, and my parents are more right-wing. So that's what they'll watch. But yeah, the youngsters coming up, they don't give a fuck about it. The TV license won't exist eventually because the youngsters won't pay it. You know what I mean? They just won't. They don't consume the media like they used to. You know what I mean? They're fucking they can barely watch a TikTok video for about 2 minutes. You know what I mean? They don't have the attention span. You know, it's not there.
I was going to ask you, what about, do you have to have a TV license if you watch it on a tablet or on your phone, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can't get away from it. It has to be linked to your address, right? And when you turn the TV on, right, if you go to a streaming channel, so say you take BBC streaming, or you take the main channel, so take BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5. They're like the 5 main channels, right? So when you go to their streaming platforms, if you want to watch something on catch up, it'll always be, are you over the age of 16? Are you over the age of 18? Depending. And it's like, are you the registered owner of this TV? Is this your license? And you have to press OK and go through all that shenanigans every time. That's how fucking, because what happens is, the license, the TV license is linked to your address in your house.
Holy
so
shit.
That's your right to transmit. And what happens is, if you haven't got it, potentially, if there's a television man coming around in a television van and he detects that you haven't got a TV license, you can be fined up to £10,000.
Wow. Can you stream YouTube without a TV license, or is it just the main channel?
I don't think you can now, because BBC have signed a deal, haven't they?
Yeah.
BBC have signed a deal now to appeal to a younger demographic. So they've got this deal with YouTube where they're basically doing BBC bite size on YouTube, because like I said, people that they're trying to appeal to, they've got that older boomer audience that you were talking about. So their audience for the BBC is slowly dying out. It's going, viewing figures are way down. So they're trying to tap into the YouTube market, the younger market. So they're doing like BBC bite size. So they'll do little bits and pieces, little shorts, and they're trying to get into that market. So no, I think you have to.
What's this is just a little bit off topic. What's the situation on the digital IDs over there? Are they still pushing for that or no?
I don't know. I think this Labour government has had so many U-turns. If you know, the recent one has been the Chagos Islands. Donald Trump was for us giving the Chagos Islands back to Mauritius, and that's a misnomer, because it was never Mauritius's in the first place. It was the Chagos Islands, it was for the Chagosians, but it is like a military bolt hole, isn't it, with the Americans and Diego Garcia. So Donald Trump was like, he doesn't really understand, does he, Donald Trump? I don't think. Like the minutiae of it all. He's very much like someone tells him something and then he's like, oh, right. But it was brought to a head during the Iran crisis, wasn't it? Because Keir Starmer couldn't get involved in the Iran war because his government, the people in the government the backbenchers wouldn't allow him, because of their pro-Palestine, their pro-Muslim stance, and also because the May local elections are coming up and he would dramatically lose voters that he can't afford to lose. And Donald Trump couldn't let the planes, could he?
Yeah.
He wanted the planes to be able to go there to these bases so we didn't have to do the 8,000-mile round trip all the time to bomb Iran. And Keir Starmer wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
So, and then it came to the point where it was like, we're not going to get this through Parliament.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has completely now gone, look, you have to like keep the Chagos Islands. We need it. You know what I mean? You know, it's important for us with the Diego Garcia. You can't give it back to Mauritius. And we were paying Mauritius. It wasn't like we were just giving it back. We were paying Mauritius hundreds of billions to take it off our hands. And what would have happened if Mauritius got it? The Chinese would have just moved in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We've got Russian submarines just doing whatever they want in our waters, and our government doesn't do anything about it.
Which is crazy because, England used to be the biggest navy in the world at one time.
Trump was right, and Hegseth was right. We have no navy, we have no military.
Yeah.
That's why I think we are eventually going to go to a European army.
Yeah. We got Miami John in the chat. He says he can definitely not watch regular TV anymore. I can't either, bro, except for, the porn channels. Kidding. I get that all online. He says, let's see what else we got. We got Pat. She says she can't watch TV hardly anymore either. Yeah, it sucks fucking dick, and I don't mean in the porn way. Who else we got? We got DJ John. He says, once in a while there's a decent show or movie that looks like it could be okay, but usually it's a disappointment. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the back.
Well, we were going to talk about that yesterday, weren't we? And I was scratching around.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about movies, weren't we, from like 93 or something, and then 2026. And like,
no, we're still going to do that. We'll probably do that next time.
Yeah.
But you can talk about it right now.
I was just saying, the only one that I could think of that I was remotely interested in that's coming out this year is The Death of Robin Hood with Hugh Jackman.
Okay.
Because it's a very interesting take, and I think it's done by the same director that done Pig with Nicolas Cage. Okay. So I think he's going to take it in a different dynamic where Robin Hood wasn't this mythical rob from the rich and give to the poor. He was just a cold-blooded murderer and took the money, and there's going to be a redemption arc for him in this movie.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree. Now, let me just say three things real quick. The first thing I'm going to say is that we are going to do that. We're still going to do that. Yesterday, we were going to do the talk about the upcoming movies, which ones we're excited about in 2026, and then we were going to compare them to a past year. And I pulled up the year of 1993, and we were going to compare the movie quality. We'll do that again on the next lunch table, so that'll be a lot of fun. The second thing is I have like this theory, okay, that the politics are going to follow the financial trends and the financial strategies of the global market, and they're set on purpose by the elites who run the bank. Okay, now the reason why all this conflict is going on is because the dollar is going to be replaced as the global reserve currency. Currently, it's the petrodollar. That's why they're attacking oil. They're attacking it. They're attacking it because they want to change the global reserve currency to something else. Multipolar world order is what Charles Schwab said, and the WEF, and that's what's going on right now. So don't be all freaked out. They're trying to change around the assets. They're making it look like it's political, but it's not. That's why it doesn't make any sense. It's all financial. The last time this happened was right after World War II, where the pound sterling used to be the reserve currency, the English pound sterling, and it was changed for the American dollar. If you look back throughout history, you'll see that the reserve currency usually lasts 80 to 100 years, and that's because of the interest that they use to siphon the wealth from the people. They always do this. You know who they is. It's the people who, the elites that run the banks, the Federal Reserve. If you didn't know, isn't federal at all. It's a privatized bank with the stupid name of Federal Reserve that every time it prints money for us, the Americans, it charges money to print us. So we're always in debt to it. The national debt is a psychological operation designed to keep financial stress and pressure upon the American people with the concept that we always have to give more because we're always spending more when we're really not spending more. As you see, it's all corruption. If we tighten the belt, the purse strings on the corruption in America and England and other places, we're sending out billions of dollars. Tyler Oliveira, Nick Shirley has shown this. We got the Somalis over there in Minnesota. We got the Indians in Texas. We got all of the crazy people in California with billions and billions of dollars just being siphoned off for people's personal wealth. And if we reconstituted that, we'd have more than enough money to balance the books, to take care of our infrastructure. But this is all by design because they want to create a multi-world order where there are 7 zones, North America being one of them. That's why Trump is being put in order to make the North American group, which is going to consist of Mexico, America, Canada, and Greenland. They're going to merge all those together. Then you're going to have a South American group that's going to be led by who is it? Argentina. Or no, is it Brazil or Argentina? Malay. Whoever Malay is, I think it's Argentina, man.
He's Argentinian Malay.
Yeah. Javier Malay. It's going to be led by Malay. Then you also have in Brazil all of the world's meat operations. Everything that's run in the meat packing is owned by Brazil now. It's become a big monopoly. And so they're going to control the food that way. Then you have Europe over there. Then you're going to have Russia with Eastern Europe, and then China perhaps, or Japan maybe. I don't know. Japan might pop out to be, because of their strong homogenous nature and their culture, they might become a real powerhouse. But this is also the reason why they're flooding all of these countries with immigrants. When free energy doesn't exist anymore, I cannot no longer have my factory in China pay slave labor in China and then have it exported or sent by ship back to America. The cost of the transportation has gone too high. So, as a entrepreneur, as a booming young industrialist, what do? Well, if I can't have the factory where the labor is, I bring the labor to where the factory is. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. The markets are the Western, the Western of society, the Western world. You got the Five Eyes network, and you got Europe. That's going to be the primary market. What they're going to do is they're going to bring the slave labor into that market, and they're going to set up economic zones where they're going to have factories that are going to produce for that market, so they can cut out the oil, so they don't have to ship it. That's what's going on. That's a transition that's going on. They're going to integrate these AI into it, and they're going to try to integrate digital IDs and CBDCs. That's the entire ball of wax right there, people. It's not political at all. It's financial, and then the political follows it, and then that's why it doesn't make sense. That's why the political sense, like James said, Trump doesn't make any sense. He got in on one thing, and he's doing something completely different. Because this is probably a 10-year transitional period, a 10-year strategy in order to relocate a lot of the workers to the market in order to bypass the soaring cost of the oil. And they want to do that because the petrodollar has failed. It will be failing in the next 10 years, and they're going to replace it with something. What are your thoughts on that, James?
Well, didn't I hear Mexico on the verge of becoming a cashless society? I think I saw something like that.
No, you're 100% right. They're a Scheinbaum, their president over there in Mexico, just passed a law for the first time. By the end of this year, the Mexican culture, the Mexican people will no longer be able to use cash to pay at gas stations. Think about that. Or at, trains or buses or public transport. So they can no longer use cash for any of that. That's wild, especially in Mexico, which is one of the highest cash-dependent societies in the world because of their geography. They're all isolated in little valleys. I didn't know this, James, but Mexico is very high altitude. Most of it is up in the mountains. And so the towns exist in the valleys between the mountains. And so they have a very strong, local economy because of that. And so they're very strong that way. They're very resistant to global influence. And so I believe Scheinbaum was put in there. Did you know that 41 of the people that were running for president were either removed or assassinated, and then Scheinbaum ended up winning? How about that? What a coincidence, right?
A Jewish Mexican.
Yeah, right.
What's the chances?
Exactly.
What's the chances? But now, how's I worry for Ralph? How is Ralph going to be able to buy a burrito, buy a beer, and go to the donkey shows if they take away cash?
Yeah.
How's he going to survive?
I don't know, bro. Maybe he'll have to start getting a prostitute that he can pimp out. You know of any?
I don't know. Scarlett's probably going to relocate to Spain. I hear they got her flavor over there.
No, she's talking about moving to Mexico already. She was talking about it. Yeah, so that's wild.
But no, I know what you're saying, though. To back up what you were saying, when they had the World Cups in the Middle East, they imported a load of slave labor. So they imported slave labor from third world countries and third world economies. And when they come into the country, they take away their passport immediately.
Exactly.
They cut off all contact with their family. They put them up in the worst kind of hovels. The worst hovels that you could possibly imagine. And they work them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until they die.
Yeah.
Then they throw them in the bin and they get some more slave labor. That was even highlighted during the World Cups in the Middle East, what they were doing to people.
That's what I was going to say. That's the Dubai model. That's the Dubai model. Remember all those guys saying how great Dubai was? I'm going to buy a place in Dubai. You had Andrew Tate and all the guys saying, well, no, Dubai's not great, bro. Half their country is slavery that they do exactly what James just said in order to maintain all their bullshit. And now it's all cooked. And now they want to do that. That was probably... they're probably trying to test it out. Now they're going to bring it to a country near you.
How do you think you get things built fast and cheap? You do it with slave labor, disposable labor, and you do it with people that no one's going to give a fuck about when they just fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah, and that happens all the time in China. And it's even getting so bad in China that they have this thing called, tofu drag projects, where they'll build stuff out of concrete. In order to save money, they'll use styrofoam for most of it. and then put concrete just a little bit on the top. So you can literally go in there with your fingers and pull apart the building with your fingers. That's how weak it is. And so that's
the Chinese are learning off the gypsies, mate. They're clever, them Chinese, I tell you.
Is that a gypsy trick? Let's fucking go.
And mate, they got all the old tricks, mate. They just use the old crap stuff, right? If you want a driveway, right, they just use the old rubbish, mate, and make you a driveway.
Yeah, let's go.
And when you put your car on and it starts sinking, you're gonna know, mate.
Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble. All right, let me jump in the chat real quick. We got King Yeti. He says Twisted Metal on Peacock is the best show he's seen in 10 years. I used to love that video game. Is it based on the video game by any chance? King Yeti also says I can't watch shows and movies at all anymore. Yeah, bro. Okay, number one, I can't handle the boss babe thing. Okay, as soon as I see a girl with a chip on her shoulder, you know, she's 5'2", 90 pounds, and she's talking to an Alan Richardson or whatever, who's like 6'8", almost 400 pounds of pure muscle. I can't take that shit, bro. I'm like, shut the fuck up. That bitch would be so wet and melted just to be around that guy's aura that she'd do whatever he said.
You see, he got off a bike the other day and slapped some dude.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, apparently his neighbor jumped out in front of him to try to tell him to slow down and caused him to go tumble over the bike face first. And that's why he got up and beat the shit out of the guy, which I don't blame him. Yeah, I didn't know that part of the story. Yeah, fuck that. Fuck the neighbor, bro.
I think he did it in front of his kids as well, didn't he? I think he did, was it Alan Richardson's kids? The geezer did it in front of his kids.
Trying to embarrass him in front of his kids. What the fuck is that? We got King Yeti saying, no problem, John. Hope you enjoy what he sent you. It will be fresh stuff. John, we need a review. Shout out to King Yeti for dropping that off to John, some smell goods. We're going to have that cologne review. Miami John, when you get that cologne, we'll bring our colognes on. We'll have another talk about that. Maybe try to rank some of these colognes. Let's fucking go. King Yeti says the Greater American Project. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The unity of America, Canada, Greenland, and Mexico. I don't know if there's other South American or Central American states involved in that. Maybe, I don't know. You know, but definitely those ones. Yeti says that he buys his meat from a local butchery. Ready to start buying direct from a rancher. Yeah, me too. I buy from a local butcher. I've even started. There's people around where I live that they'll raise a cow for you. All you have to do is pay for the cow and then pay for the feed, and then you can take it to the butcher. I forgot how much it is. I think it's like $2,000 US. It's probably more now. I don't know. Let's see here. Rachel says, shout out to you, Rachel. Good to see you. In British Columbia, Canada, I got wind of new acreage laws coming to make it harder for hobby farmers. 100%. They don't want you growing your own food. They don't want you sustainable. They want you eating their lab-grown meat. They want you eating the hydroponic tomatoes that they're growing that have no seeds in them, that have none of the juice. It's just all that crappy sponge bullshit in there. So, you know, I was listening to something the other day. In California, there's a law that you can't collect rainwater in buckets. How crazy is that? Because it belongs to the state. Well, fuck that, bro.
Well, that's how Ava Vladinabrook become a big star, you know, a big social media star, because Bill Gates just started buying all the farmland up in Europe, especially in Holland. And then you had all the farmers protest, didn't you? And she was a big part of that. And they called her like the milkmaiden and all that, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it was like, because he wanted us to eat bugs, didn't he? He was like, right, I'm going to buy the farmland and we're going to wean you off meat and you're going to eat all the bugs.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. They want to do that. They want to, bro. They're crazy. They're cluster B personality disorders. And I don't know if you guys have ever had somebody like that, cluster B personality disorder around you. They're like narcissist, bipolar disorder, Machiavellianism, or psychopathy, but they actually enjoy your suffering. It's called Schadenfreude in German. That's the word for it. But they enjoy it when watching you suffer. How crazy is that, man? Fuck those motherfuckers. That's what I got to say about that. Let's see here. Schnauzer Max gave us a Ralph update. He says Ralph posted that on his channel and got flagged and reinstated. I'm waiting to see what happens with this. I'm waiting to see if they actually make it to Hackmania. During COVID, during COVID they banned selling seeds. James, I knew this because I was out doing a garden. I got a big garden in my backyard, a lot of planter boxes. I was trying to grow tomatoes and all kinds of stuff, and I was out buying seeds, and they were trying to ban the buying of seeds. Can you believe that, James? Trying to ban seeds.
I can, because it's like something came in like this week. It's kind of like off topic, but on topic. There's people saying that we can't feed the birds no more. You know, everyone in the country, right? We've all got bird feeders, haven't we? We've all got bird tables. You know, in the spring, the summer, we're all feeding the fucking birds, and now they're saying, "No, you can't do that anymore."
Yeah. Well, over in China, they don't really have any wildlife anywhere. And I've been through China several times, been through all different parts of China, all the way from the south of China, all the way up to the north of China, the coastal regions, and some places inland. And they don't have any wildlife. And the reason is because they eat all of the wildlife. They eat it all. They're so poor that they eat it all. And, you know, when you're that poor, you can starve a nation. You know, you got to be watch out. They're trying to reduce the amount of deer here in America. They're trying to put all kinds of laws on what you can hunt and you can't hunt. They're trying to thin out different species. And like you said, we're in their neck and taking them home for a stew.
Yeah, they basically have a different mentality. You have to understand that the swans in our country, they're under royal protection. They're like owned by the crown. You can't just go up into the water, grab a swan, neck it, and take it home and pluck it and eat it. That's just not how it goes. They're just free to do whatever they fucking want. You know what I mean? But foreigners, they don't understand this. And what have I said to you before? No one's assimilating, right? If I went to America, right, I say I came and live, and I went to an area, I would try to assimilate. You know what I mean? I try to take in, you know, the local rules, the local customs, the local areas. But it's like you said, they go to Texas, it becomes Little India. They go to fucking Michigan, and it's like fucking, it's Little Islam. You know what I mean? They go to what is it, Minnesota, or it's Little Somalia, and they come over here and they just do what they want to do, and no one ever says anything because we have a like tolerance for them. And we're going to talk about it later with the indigenous Irish population.
Yeah.
There is a massive intolerance for the indigenous white Irish population, and there is a massive tolerance for the immigrants that are coming into Ireland.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And we'll just talk about that right now. I got it up here on the screen. There's a little video here. Horrific. The Irish government is attacking the protesters. They're dragging farmers from their tractors and stomping on them like animals. The government is beating the Irish man, but it continues to roll out the red carpet for illegal immigrants. That's happening right now. If you guys don't know what's going on over in Ireland, is the fifth day of protests. We got the truckers that are blocking traffic. The farmers have come out too. There also have the biker gangs that are joining with the truckers and with the farmers. They're taking over bridges. They're taking over everything to shut down the country to protest these price hikes in oil, while at the same time paying a crazy amount of money for immigrants. James, you're closer to this situation. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, John Campbell put me onto this, and I'll tell you why. This story, right, is a huge story. It's not just a huge domestic story, it's a huge international story because it has ramifications throughout the EU because Ireland is in the European Union. Someone falsely said that it was in the UK. He looked like a bit of a fool. But these rising oil prices, the normal Irish man, the normal Irish punter, the hard-working Irishman can't do anything about this because Ireland is part of Europe. And when you become part of Europe, we discussed this before, you're not a rule maker, you're a rule taker. You can't do anything with your currency. You know, the euro is governed by the European Union from Brussels, like we spoke about before. So Ireland has to continue to suffer. So imagine the protests before. We've had protests that have been pro-mass immigration, pro-illegal immigration, and we've had protests that are pro-Palestine, right? And not once has the Taoiseach of Ireland come in and said, we need the Gardaí to intervene, that's the police. And he's gone so far as to say, we need the army on the streets, because this protest is about white, working class Irish people. Now, if you remember, I'm English, but I come from a time when my parents were growing up, when we were in Croydon in South London, we didn't even have bins on the streets because of the IRA. They would put bombs in the bins and they would blow up women and children. They would blow up pubs. They brought the fight to the mainland, right? And it was all Erin go Bragh, Ireland for Ireland, kick the British out. And that was led by a political party called Sinn Féin. Martin McGuinness, he was the militant. Gerry Adams, he was the political wing. Right, and you in America were supplying arms through Whitey Bulger in South Boston to bring the fight to us, right? And we had to stomach that, right? And they kicked the British out. So you've got Ireland, and they decided to side with the EU. Well, then you become a rule taker.
Yeah.
So you have to take the mass migration that comes into your country. You can't say, well, we'll take X amount. We'll take 100,000. If the EU says you take 500,000, you take 500,000 and you like it. So the Irish, when the Taoiseach, Sinn Féin changed their mentality because Sinn Féin realised the demographic was changing. It was no longer the white Irish. If we want to keep the power that we fought so hard to get, we need to appeal to the migrants. We need to appeal to the LGBTQIA+. We need to appeal to trans people. We need to appeal to minorities. So we will cater for them. And we will make the white working class Irish person, the person that we fought to protect from the British, fought to separate ourselves, trying to unite Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland into one. They've completely thrown that out the window. And the Taoiseach's like, no, these are white Irish people. They're bad. Look at Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor has tried to get somewhere. He's tried to become a political force, and they just won't let him. They keep battering him down. You know what I mean? They just won't let him get a foothold.
Yeah, James.
And there's loads of other people.
You're 100% right. I'm pulling up
Jerry the Monk Hutch.
Yeah.
Jerry the Monk Hutch is a gangster. If you know about the Hutch-Kinahan feud, it's one of the biggest feuds. The Kinahans are the biggest drug operators in the world. Don't let you believe that it's the Kinahans, the Irish family, and they were in a fight with the Hutch family, and the biggest person in the Hutch is Jerry the Monk Hutch, and he's tried to gain political power, and they won't let him because he's old school. They're for a white island. They're for an island that is against being taken over because they've got that fighting spirit in them. They didn't want to be taken over by the British, and we're white, so they sure as shit don't want to be taken over by a load of immigrants.
Yeah. Well, James,
the Taoiseach's bearing down on them.
It looks like they are because I'm pulling up a video right now that shows the camps that the Irish government is building for all of the immigrants. So they're just rows and rows of little cubicles, rows and rows of different camps for the immigrants that they're housing them in, while they're charging the Irish people more money for everything, more money for gas, more money for food, more money for fertilizer. The reason why obviously the reason why the farmers are protesting is because of the high increase for the rate of putting the fertilizer down on the soil. And they know that they're not going to be able to make any money. And also there's not going to be any food for the Irish people. And they're, like you said, you were talking about the LGBTQs, you were talking about the immigrants. Those are all being used as bioweapons to destroy the Irish people and to break up their country so that they will be more compliant when it comes to this whole, 7 world zone, multipolar world order with the EU. They don't want them to be Ireland anymore. They want them to be part of the EU. Isn't that right, James?
They're completely apathetic, right? The Taoiseach, the Irish government, they're completely apathetic to the plight of the white working class man and woman, right? But they're completely sympathetic to the so-called plight of these illegal migrants that come to the country illegally and shouldn't even be there. Right.
I got a couple of videos here pretty soon showing we're talking about not only is that happening in Ireland, but that's happening all over Europe right now. We got, let me pull this up. We got over in Spain, they just passed a law that allows over 500,000 immigrants to be normalized in their country. And what they're doing, this is on the border from Africa to Spain. They're literally running into Spain right here, as you can see.
They've got a caravan, haven't they? It's just a caravan.
Yeah.
Just walk in.
Yeah, there are literally thousands of them running in. And I got another video right here. Let me pull this up real quick. Sorry for that music right there. But they're literally just running into Spain. They passed a law. Poor Ebi, he comes back from Korea to find his country overran with joggers. What's going on with that, James? You got joggers running into Spain. Thousands of them.
I have no idea. Well, Ebi comes from the place, doesn't he, where they had ETA, the terrorist group. Yeah. They fought for separation until they came to a peace deal. But it's basically you have a socialist government, and I've spoke about this before. I swear down, we're going to a point where we want the EU is going to be a continent without borders. where caravans like this will just be coming daily. We have it with boats coming from France over to the English Channel. Everyone wants to come to England because it has a very sympathetic benefit system for illegal migrants. They come over here and they'll be housed in hotels. They'll be given temporary credit cards. They will be some of them will find work. Some of them will just disappear and go into the black economy. There's no checks or balances. They dump their passport. They dump any identification paper in the water before they come over here. You don't know their work history. You don't know their criminal history. You don't know their real age. We've got people going into schools, right? Going into primary, what we call primary school. So that's up to the age of 11. And they're fucking 17 or 18. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're putting it on young girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just this animalistic behavior.
Well, that's what I was going to say, James, is that I don't see any women or children in any of these groups. These are all men, 18 to maybe 25. That's all I see here. And they're all running into Spain.
They're all fighting age men. So, there's some kind of like, people hate this word, but I'm like, there's some kind of replacement going on. You know what I mean? People like Ava Valadina, Tommy Robinson, whether you like him or not, because he's pro-Israel, I don't care really. But they've all talked about the great replacement theory, and there is this replacement. I said, if you have a continent without borders, have you noticed that you can't do it the other way? They're basically turning Europe into an Islamic state. That's what it's turning into. People say it isn't, but it is. But you don't see that the reverse way. Are we all going to Saudi Arabia? Are we all going to Dubai? Are we all going to Iran? Are we going to Afghanistan? Are we going to Lebanon? Are we going to Syria? You don't see Christian churches over there, do you? You don't see large swathes of white communities. But you'll see in America and you'll see in England, you'll see little Somalia, you'll see little India. They are building their own communities within your country and my country, and no one's doing anything about it because they're very sympathetic to their plight, so-called plight, but they're completely apathetic to our feelings about the rapid change that's happening in both of our countries.
Yeah, I just pulled up a video of driving through London at night, and this is crazy. There's trash everywhere. There's tons of Africans everywhere. This doesn't look like London to me. This looks like somewhere in Africa, like maybe Kenya,
Londonistan.
Or yeah, exactly. And that's what's going on even in London right now. We got the bins overflowing with trash. We got trash all over the ground. We got all this crazy stuff going on. What's crazy to me is that, like, James, a couple of questions. Gas is really expensive. Who's paying for these people? Who's transporting these people up here? It's not like these immigrants have money to buy gasoline and to be in all these boats and all these vans and all these buses to get up here. Who's paying for all that, number one? Who do you think, James? Oh, hold on, James. Your audio dropped out there real quick. Let me fix it real fast. I got that little glitch. My bad, people. I know I got to fix that. We're going to get it going real quick right here. There we go. All right, James. I think, are you back? I think you're back. Say something.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Great. What were your thoughts on that, James?
Yeah, I was saying it's like NGOs and vested interests, isn't it? I think Forest Mummy's very hot on this take. I mean, I think in your country, the Catholic Church has been like people trafficking, hasn't it? And probably has. And the Church of England, the British state, the British government, the European Union. It's like a project that goes way over our head. It has to come down from high, doesn't it? It has to be at that level where you're wanting to radically change society. You know what I mean? And for the socialist government in Spain, what we've been talking about, you bring in 500,000 people, right? And immediately you come to the country, there's no vetting here. They said straight away they're going to give them the right to vote, right? So these people have been brought to the country by the socialist government. Who do you think they're going to vote for? They're going to vote socialist across the board. Yeah. So they're importing voters. So that allows the socialist government to stay in for perpetuity. The right-wing government will never be able to challenge them. At the moment, they're on the precipice to challenging. How do you stop that? Have you noticed how funny that France have always managed to stop Marine Le Pen? Right, yes, Marine Le Pen looks like the National Front are going to get in. 3 times it looks like the National Front are going to get in. But right at the end, she loses the runoff against Emmanuel Macron.
Yeah.
And what have they done now? They brought charges against Marine Le Pen, haven't they? So she can no longer stand. And there's a new guy now. I think his name's Javier Bordella or something. So they'll always find a way to stop, in Europe, a challenge coming from the right. I think the only person in Europe that stands up to them is Viktor Orban in Hungary. And he gets punished punitively. The EU keeps fining him. They keep sanctioning Hungary. And they're trying to make it so difficult for the Hungarian person to live an everyday life that they will vote out Viktor Orban, not because they want to, just because they need to in order to survive within the European Union framework.
Well, that's the truth.
It's a cartel. It's basically a cartel.
And that's why it's so important to know what's, for us Americans, to know what's going on in, in Europe, because so we can recognize the patterns that are going on here in America. I'm going to pull up another video. This one instead is of a bunch of Indians that are in Texas. This isn't India. They're doing all kinds of rituals in the water. They're polluting the water, the ponds. They're all out there. They're pouring things into it. They're putting different kinds of idols and effigies and all kinds of stuff, burning them, putting them in the water, doing all kinds of stuff, having all their parties, and basically taking over Texas. So that's what's going on here. Even in America, it's the same thing going on.
Shit in the water that they bathe in.
Yeah, and they poop in the water that they bathe in. That's 100% right. So what's going on here too? It's going on everywhere, and we have to recognize these patterns and bind together about this. The other thing too is we have to understand that this is a financial movement. The reason why is because if we try to argue it from a political point of view, we will always lose. We have to instead say, wait a minute, who's paying these? Paying the airplane fare? Who's paying for the boat rides? Who's paying for all this? And why are they doing this? What's going on? And then we'll start to understand what's really happening in the world, and then we'll be able to adjust ourselves accordingly. If we're always, I don't know if you guys know about Plato's cave, but there's this allegory of Plato's cave, and Plato was a philosopher from a Greek philosopher, and he said that most of the world lives in a cave, and the illumination that comes from fire in the cave creates puppets on the cave wall. And so the elites move the puppets, the shadows, and the people think that's real. And that's the majority of the world. Every once in a while, somebody gets to get out of the cave, and they go out and they see the sunshine, and they writhe in pain at the bright light, but they finally realize what it's like, and then they try to come back in and tell the people in the cave how it really is. And the people in the cave end up killing that man because they don't want to hear the truth, because it contradicts what they think the world is. And they can't handle it. They can't handle the psychology.
They have a psychological break because they just can't reconcile with it.
That's exactly right. They've built their entire world, their business, their self-identity, their family relationships upon this one world viewpoint, and they're not able to pivot. And so that's what's going on here. And if you want to understand out there in the audience what's going on in the world, you're going to have to pivot how you perceive the world. You're going to have to pivot how Walter Cronkite has told you, this is American news, blah, blah, blah. Well, Walter Cronkite was a Luciferian. He was all up in this business. He was Mason. He was in all this secret society bullshit. There's all kinds of documentaries out there. Hate to break it to you. He was actively deceiving the world population, especially the American population. So you have to go ahead and wrap your mind around that. Hold on a minute. We just had somebody jump in the chat. We got Mersh. What's up, Mersh? Shout out to Mersh. We got nice guy Mersh in the chat. Talking with the genuine South London James. What's going on, Mersh? We were just talking about the Hackmania. We were talking about your coverage last night. How great it was with that the Ralph with his takedown, his slipped audio on camera, and then tried to take it down. Then everybody put it back up, and you were covering that. That was wild. We were talking about the Mexican bed bugs in Vegas. We were talking about all that. Even the reviews of the hotel motel, bro, that you posted. That was wild. So he definitely got some shit stains on the sheets on that one, huh, James? That's pretty wild.
Man's falling apart, ain't he, mate? Fucking, I talk about a disappointment like that guy. He's like, fucking hell. I mean, you're there, get it across the line, mate. Marry the love of your life. Oh, you know, the woman that's been with more black men than you've had hot dinners.
And he's had quite a few hot dinners, people. I can attest to that. But yeah. But anyway, going back to what we were talking about.
Well, imagine, right? Think about it, right? Just think about it, yeah. How easy is it, right, to stop boats coming from France?
That's what I'm saying.
Across the English Channel.
Yeah, exactly.
if they wanted to solve that problem, they could solve it in 5 minutes, right? They come to us, right, and they say, this is the amount of money that we are going to need to patrol the beach, right? Completely patrol it, right? So no boats come across. Yeah, you're going to pay us this amount of money. You can even bring across military, police to help us patrol it. You know, we're going to work hand in hand like we used to, cooperation across the channel, and we're going to stop the boats coming. But two reasons. One, they don't want to stop it.
Yeah.
And two, France wants to get all those migrants out of their fucking country because they're drowning.
Yeah.
They are drowning in African migrants. They are drowning in Muslims. It's killing their economy stone dead. The European Union, right? They talk about Keir Starmer goes, we need to rejoin the European Union to kickstart the British economy. Brexit was a terrible mistake. The European Union economy has flatlined. It's shit. There is no country there that isn't underwater apart from Germany. And Germany are only above water because of the automotive industry. But even they're struggling because everything's moving to different resources, isn't it? You know, they're the internal combustion engine.
Yeah.
You know, that shit's going out with the arc. You know what I mean? So it's like even they're struggling.
Yeah, they want to make that happen. The whole point of the EU is to mimic the United States, is to mimic the financial capital expenditure and the power of the market of the United States, to remove all that bureaucracy of the inner country borders. And it's a good idea, but not the way that they're doing it. You know, you got to have that freedom. And it would be very easy to, like Hillbilly Harry says, an island should be very easy to defend, especially with drones. You know what I'm saying? You don't even need to have patrols. You could have drones just on patrolling in the sky. Or you could even just, if you wanted to, you could mine the waters, bro. Just put some bombs in the water. Tell the migrants and everybody, hey, bro, there's bombs in the water. These motherfuckers can't even swim, so you know they ain't going to come over then. You know what I'm saying? So there's many ways that we could do this, but like I said before, it's not about politics. It's about finances. In the next 10 years, they want to secure the slave labor. They want to put a pocket of slave labor inside of every country that they can go ahead and graft off of in order to have them work in their factories. And then what's going to happen over time is that slave labor is going to grow into the middle class of that country. Because they're going to have that consistent income, and the next generation, they're going to put them in school, want them to become doctors, lawyers, and engineers, and then they want to become industrialists after that. That's what's going to happen.
That's what they always say, though. It's crazy. When they talk on Question Time, our political show, right, and they get someone from the left wing, they get someone from the centre, they get someone from the right wing, and then they'll have someone like Nigel Farage from Reform, or they'll have Rupert Lowe from Restore. They'll get shouted down because they're like, yeah, but the people that are coming over, they're all doctors, they're all dentists, they're all engineers. We're getting their best and their brightest. We're not. We're getting the fucking scum of the earth, mate. We're getting the dregs.
We're getting scammers.
We're not getting the best and the brightest.
We're getting scammers. In Tyler Oliveira was showing in his most recent video in Texas that all of the H-1B visas, and if you guys don't know what that is, that's a temporary work visa from people from other countries. The only way you can get it is if you're highly skilled and if nobody else in America can do the job. But of course, there's corruption. So they have H-1B visas, not doing engineering, not doing doctor work, but working in a 7-Eleven. They're working as a barista in a coffee shop. That's how we're taking the H-1B visas. This is total and 100% corruption of the entire system. We got Rachel in the chat. She says Germany is being starved out without natural gas from Russia. Yeah, we blew up the Nord pipeline. What was that, 2 summers ago or something, when Biden was in office? We blew up the Nord pipeline, pretending it was the Russians. Made no sense, right? So now they're being forced to do things they don't want to do. They're being starved from their energy and also from their food. And like you said, James, they're a combustion engine factory over there. They don't do the whole battery thing, but they're trying to force that on everybody. And batteries are the inferior product. The combustion engine is superior. Oil is a plentiful resource. All this bullshit about it coming from dinosaur bones is 100% bullshit, bro.
Wasn't Big B Trucker an actual trucker, right?
No, yeah, he's.
And then there was those things, weren't there, with all those Indians? The people at the DVLA were faking all the licenses, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then they were having all those fucking accidents and killing people.
Yeah, I don't know if Big B's still in the chat, but if he wants to drop any info about that, go on with what you're saying, James.
No, well, they were basically scamming, weren't they? They couldn't pass. you know, any test. They couldn't speak English. They were faking their licenses. Do you call it that? You don't call it. Do you call it the DVLA over there?
No,
You get your
we call
driving
it
license.
CDL. We got the
Well, CDL, right?
Yeah.
So they're faking it. It's a scam, right? They're taking backhanders. They're getting their license. They're going out and they're driving trucks, and they're actually killing American citizens because they shouldn't be on the road.
Yeah.
They can't read the signs. They don't know how to handle a truck.
Yeah.
They're totally out their depth. And, you know, your job as a society, your first job is to protect the citizens of your country. And you're bringing in people that are killing citizens, shouldn't have been here in the first place, and they're killing families.
No, you're 100% right. Not only that, they're killing so many people that they're actually killing other immigrants. The last big auto accident they had killed, I think they were a Haitian immigrant family, which is a shame. I hate to see anybody die. But it's so bad. The corruption is so bad over here, James, is that they're not even putting real names on the license. They're putting no names, like not available. And nobody's ever seen that before. So that means that the issuance, whoever's issuing the license is compliant. And obviously the government is the one issuing the license. They're compliant. We were told in California and probably America too that we had to get a real ID. We had to get a real California ID. We had to provide a birth certificate, a photo ID, all kinds of other paperwork to prove it was us.
Driving license, passport.
At the DMV. Well, we had to bring this to the Department of Motor Vehicles where we get our driver's license to be able to get a real ID. And that's what you have to use if you travel anywhere. To get on an airplane or anything like that, you have to use a real ID. Well, guess what? They're flying immigrants around with no ID at all. None at all. They don't need an ID. They don't need a passport. They don't need anything. And the government's paying for it. So what's the real ID for? Well, I'm going to say the real ID is for like the draft. They're getting the real ID for the draft. They did it a couple years in advance. So they know everybody that's in the draft and they automatically register them through the real ID system. They're ready to go on the draft and they're going to send them away. One of my other questions, James, related to the draft is, how come women aren't automatically registered for the draft? What happened to equality, James? Is that not a real thing? Shouldn't we be fighting for women equality? What are your thoughts?
Goes out the window, doesn't it, when it comes to something like the draft? I know they've said it over here, right? I know they always attack people on the right, and they always say, like, you know, you believe in this, you should go and fight for it. And then I was like, yeah, but if I fought for my country now, what would I actually be fighting for? So say there's a draft and I've got to go and fight in the Middle East to protect the interests of my country. Say it's England or you to protect the interests of America. Who are we fighting for? Are we fighting for Englishmen? Are we fighting for British people? People from the United? Are we fighting for Americans? Are we fighting for freedom? No, we're just fighting to import a load of illegal migrants into our country who hate us and don't want us to fight for them because their allegiance is always to the country that they come from. It could be India, it could be Pakistan, it could be Syria, it could be Iran, it could be Palestine, but they will never fully assimilate. They will never become English, British, United Kingdom, American. Their allegiances will always lie with the country of their birth. And they expect us to go and fight for those people, fight for their freedom. You've got to be out of your fucking head, mate. You can stick that draft. If they brought a draft in this country, I'm no coward. I'll fight fucking anyone if it's reasonable. I'll fight anyone if it's reasonable and it should be, and I think I'm doing the right thing. But I'm going to fight and die for some foreign fuck? Get out of here. No fucking way.
Speaking of that, there's a fantastic movie with Heath Ledger. I think it's called Four Feathers. Let me see if I can't pull that up real quick. It's a great movie.
Yeah, that's the coward thing, isn't it? When they put, you don't go and serve, you're a conscientious objector, and they give you the four feathers.
Right, exactly. Let me pull that up real quick if I can find a image big enough. There it is right there. Yeah, we got the four feathers. You guys should go watch this video. Watch this movie. This movie lays it out, okay? Of course, it's like, dramatized and all that kind of stuff, but just watch this movie, okay? So I'm going to tell you the premise behind the movie real quick. It's the Four Feathers. Great movie. So the Four Feathers is this, right? It's back during World War I, before anybody knew what a World War was, right? And what happened is that everybody, all fighting age men, are supposed to go off and fight for their country. I think this one was in England, I believe. I think it was the English. It was set in England, and Heath Ledger was in the military. With all of his buddies, military school. He got of age. There was a world war. They were all going off to do it. He was in the gentry, which is the higher class. He was going to be an officer. He decided he didn't want to go to war, so he didn't go. Right? He decided it was terrible. for whatever reason he found out. So anyway, so then all the women, and this is real. This actually happened. It happened in England. It happened in America, probably other places too. Women would come up and give you, I think it was a white pigeon feather or something like that. That meant you were a coward, and you had to wear that feather, or you had to do something to go to war to earn your name back, to earn your respect back, to earn, to reinstate, the good name of who you were. Okay, and so this is a movie about that. So Keith decides he doesn't want to go to war. So Heather Graham, that's not Heather Graham. Who is that? Oh, Kate Hudson. Yeah, that's Kate Hudson. She decides that they were supposed to be engaged or whatever. So she gives him a white feather to shame him, and she won't marry him now or something like that. And so she goes off and marries someone else. Well, he's all depressed, and he finds out that his 3 other buddies, which are his close brothers, are at different places in the war. So he makes a pact with himself that he's going to earn the feather off of him by going to save his buddies. He's not going to go to war, but he's going to go over there and save his buddies, and he actually does. And it's a tremendous movie. Go watch it if you want. Hobo Chili Recipe says it was actually before World War I. It was the uprising in the Sudan. Okay, so that's a good correction on that one. But it's a great movie. Go watch it. Goss says the original movie is good. I'm not familiar. Is the original movie something else than the 4 feathers? Let me know, guys.
I think it's an old school English movie. I think it would have been done it could be. I think it's got some good people in it. It's like you said, and what they did was they found out people that weren't going to war, and the women would come along in a group, and they would shame them in a public place, and they would give them the feather to say, look, this is a coward who won't go and fight for his country, won't go and fight and die for his country.
Oh wait, James. Sorry about that. I think that you're. The audio cut out real quick. Let me go ahead and restore that.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't know why it dumped out real quick on me.
Well,
I'm always watching for it to drop out though. I'm like, oh, what the hell? His little audio bar isn't going anymore. Okay, let me go ahead and get that. All right, James, say something.
Say something.
All right, you're back, buddy. Okay, now what were you saying, James?
Yes, I was just saying.
Oh wait, did I just?
And
Okay, you're back. All right, yeah, go on, James.
Yeah, so they did it in Downton Abbey as well. But that was because he was Irish and he was for Irish independence, and he had no affiliation with the English, and he just kind of fronted it out. But yeah, it's like showing. Well, they tied you to cannons, didn't they, as well? Or you got executed if you didn't. They put you up in the firing squad if you wouldn't fight. You know what I mean? So they had other ways. They would force you to fight. But I'm saying it's a different generation now. I would have fought and died, for my country in World War I and World War II. I would have.
Yeah.
But we're talking about now. If you talk about the demographics of this country, I'm just saying, who are you fighting and dying for?
Yeah.
Are you fighting and dying? Are you fighting and dying for your English brothers and sisters? Are you fighting and dying for your American brothers and sisters? Or actually, are you going over to a country, right? And the people that are staying home and not fighting are actually cheering on that country against you? That's what it is. You've got people that are cheering on Iran, and Iran's interest in your country. They're taking to the streets, and they're cheering on, and they're happy if like that American that got shot down, or did he get shot down, or whatever, you know what I mean? But they're happy if something befalls an American in a foreign war. They're actually living amongst you, and they're rooting against you. And what, you're going to go and fight and die for those people? I don't think so.
You're 100% right. And the other thing that I want to say is that, we need to pay attention. If feminism is going to come up and try to make women equal or superior, but then they're not also going to be put as equals into the draft, what's really going on? Well, women are being used as a weight to manipulate and to shame men. If women have to go to war, well, then they're going to be against the war, right? So now all of a sudden, when they want to get back into the kitchen and make a sandwich and be a woman again, now they want the men to go to war, though, right? So they can be used to shame men. So that's what's going on here. It's a social engineering 101. Use one group to manipulate the other. Have the women manipulate the men. Shame the men. And so men are so driven, in order to win a good woman, that they'll do whatever they think they're supposed to do. Like you got all kinds of young men right now that are that watch that F-15 or F-35 rescue. That's basically the same as a movie Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman. It's the same fucking movie, bro. It's the same exact thing. It's 100% bullshit. It's a 100% narrative. It's fake. And everybody's like, "Oh, I want to be like that. I want to be like Tom Cruise and Top Gun. I want to go over there and do that." And yet America is not reporting that, you know, the what was that, the warship that we had, the aircraft carrier that had a fire in the laundry room. No, it was really hit by a missile. It was hit by a missile and it was sent back. We really had other our little rescue that we just have, the F-35 pilot, wasn't really a rescue. It was a botched mission to try to seize enriched uranium, and we lost airplanes. You know, and Trump saying, "Oh yeah, you know, we blew up the airplanes ourselves because we didn't want to leave them there." Well, think about this for a minute, people. Why the fuck would the Iranians care about getting our airplanes when they're kicking our ass with $35,000 little tiny drone missiles? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Also, their infrastructure is not geared to create C-130 gunships. They don't have that. They don't have that capacity, nor do they need that capacity. So, you know, when you use your logic to kind of see through these tropes or these like thin narratives, you know, even having Ivanka Trump come out yesterday or the day before, how awkward was that? How weird was that? You know, what's that all about? These are all these narratives that they're swirling around to keep all of us in a state of confusion and doubt so that we can be emotionally manipulated to make emotional decisions to try to send our sons to war. And we don't want to do that. What are your
If you
thoughts
think about it, right, a draft, you get a large swathe of the male population of your country, you shove them in the meat grinder, and you get rid of them in short order.
That's what happened in World War I.
That's the way you change the population, isn't it?
100%.
You know, the women are not fighting and dying, but the best of the men,
yes,
the best of your fighting men, the future generation, the younger people that are going to raise your country and take it into the future decades, they're going to fight and die overseas, never to get married, never to have children, never to reproduce, never to contribute. They're just going to be lost to history. That's what they want.
That's what they want.
You know, and Melania came on yesterday, right? And they were saying Trump didn't know she was going to do it. It was completely impromptu.
Bullshit.
She just turned up, right? And then she looked like she was rabbit in the headlights. She couldn't pronounce even the most simplest of words. And this is a woman that's learned English. She knows how to speak English, but suddenly she couldn't speak English. She couldn't pronounce words. She was waffling and she made everything a million times worse. She brought Epstein back up again. Yeah. It's Epstein. It's Epstein.
Yeah.
So fuck it.
Almost by design.
Yeah. So we can distract from Iran.
Yeah, exactly. So
of which the ceasefire is not going to hold.
Yeah.
Because even before the ceasefire was put into place, Israel were just like, fuck it, we're going to bomb the Lebanese into, you know, we're just bombing fucking Lebanon. We don't care. Yeah. We're just going to do our own thing. Yeah. And it's not going to hold.
We got a hobo chili recipe in the chat. He says he used to be very pro-military, as did I. But when he went to Kosovo, he became disenchanted with being so patriotic, and I never saw how NATO worked after he saw how NATO worked. Bro, you are 100% right on that. You know, the whole movie that we are sold in America is a complete narrative versus how the world really is and what we're really doing out in the world. Like we were protecting the poppy fields in Afghanistan. Think about that for a minute. 90% of heroin, the world's heroin, was coming from Afghanistan at the time, and the U.S. military was protecting it. Why? What's that all about? The Taliban were the ones who came in and destroyed the poppy fields. That seems like a contradiction in terms right there. So that's
look at Ukraine, right? That is the thing that made me so angry, right? You've got this jumped up little comedian who doesn't know his ass from his elbow. He's a fucking little idiot, cokehead, fucking smackhead moron, right? And he, for a time, he used to do the tour, right? He used to come to your country with a briefcase, and then he left with a shit ton of our money, your money. Exactly. He done the same thing in England. Our economy is on its fucking knees. Yeah. People are having to choose between heating and eating, right? We got some of the worst people, some good people that are on the fucking poverty line, can't afford to take care of their families. And he can just waltz up into our country and just take a shitload of money and walk off. And it's like, yeah, we'll continue to write a blank check for your war, a war that cannot be won either way. It's just endless.
Yeah.
It's like Israel and Palestine. It's just endless. And yet you will fund Israel. You fund Israel with all your money. You know, you show all your military might, your obedience, servience to Israel, and it's like fucking in a war that never ends. And we're fucking funding Ukraine and fucking Russia, the war there. Without us, he'd be fucked. You know, it would have been over in 5 minutes, but we kept that war going.
Well, it's not a real war, James. It's a money laundering project. You know, months before the whole Israel-Iran thing popped off, there were hordes of Jews flooding from Israel into Ukraine, into the cities, taking them over like crazy. But let me jump in the chat one more time. We got Hobo Chili Recipe. He says he became really pissed when he saw Camp Vance being taken over. And after the DFAC, I helped build in Bagram, not to mention leaving thermals and nods to the enemy. Bro, how much weapons, machinery, vehicles did we leave when fucking Biden pulled out? It's like we armed the entire army with even Apache helicopters, Humvees, to everything, man. It's embarrassing. And then for them to say that that's to tell us Americans that's what we had to do. That's such bullshit. They're such thin liars. They can't even lie good anymore. But let's see here. Kiev, Gaz says Kiev has record sales of Bentley cars, registered owners. Bro, they have all the money over there. It's a big money laundering. This is not what that's why I say this is all financial. It's not really political. It's not political, people. It's financial. To think that these are political disagreements, you'd be wrong. It's financial. And the reason why I'm going to show you this financial in a second, we're going to change gears real quick for the last 10 minutes. Then we'll wrap up here pretty soon. But Walmart here in America, maybe over in other places too, has invested a tremendous amount of money in creating digital price tags. Okay. So, you know, the little price tags that are underneath any product in Walmart, they're making all of the products digital and connected to a central AI system. And what everybody is saying is that it's going to be dynamic pricing. Walmart is saying it's not going to be dynamic pricing, but they're lying. They're clearly lying. Kroger's was caught price gouging in 2025, charging over inflation rate for all kinds of things like milk and eggs and cheese and different things like that. They were caught doing it. They were, I don't know, filed. They were charged or whatever. And their executive testified that Kroger raised prices above inflation cost in the trial. So they actually got caught doing that. The digital tag participates with an AI programming company to optimize pricing based upon dynamic pricing. So Walmart's saying they're not going to do this. And at the same time, they're partnering with an AI company that does exactly this, that does dynamic pricing. What is dynamic pricing, you might wonder? Well, dynamic pricing is going to change the price based upon time, based upon traffic, and based upon your phone information. If you're close to the phone, or if you're far, you know, if you're more of a wealthy person, it's going to be more expensive. If you're on EBT or food stamps or publicly supported, it's going to be cheaper. If you go at rush hour to buy a carton of eggs, they're going to be more expensive than if you go at 2 a.m. This has crazy ramifications. James, what are your thoughts on this?
I can imagine if it comes into England, the UK, or Britain, it will break down on a north-south divide, because the south is considerably more affluent where I live. Where I used to live in South London, and London in particular, it's one of the highest tax brackets in the country. And I live now in Sussex. That's also one of the highest tax brackets in the country. So I'd imagine the dynamic pricing for us would be very high. But if you go further north, where it's a bit more poverty driven, I'd imagine they'll drive the prices down low, because it's what you earn, isn't it? The income that you can earn in the south is way higher than you can earn up north. You know, the further you go, like you go to Scotland, Scotland is some of the worst poverty-ridden places you can imagine, like Glasgow. Or if you go to Wales, Wales is very it's poverty-driven. So I'd imagine the prices will be very different in England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, or islands in the EU. So you can't really count them. But that's how I would imagine they would do it. It would be very regional based. You know what I mean? Milk, bread, eggs, more expensive in the south, less expensive in the north, maybe.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. And they're going to charge people that they subsidize less. Then they're going to charge people who pay for their own food more, because they're going to get a higher margin off of them. This is all driven by economics. It's all driven by the companies that are going to build, factories and industry in the future within England, within America. They're going to want to have this slave labor. So they're setting up a digital corridor that they can manipulate that they can go ahead and take money from other people, have them pay more to cover the people that pay less, so they can still make their nut, as it were. And Walmart, I'm telling you the truth right now, Walmart, whether you're going to believe it or not, is the government. Basically, Walmart, made by Sam Walmart, I don't know, one of the guys, he ran the detention camps for the Japanese back during World War II and then went on to start Walmart. And that's what's going on right now. And it's a test bed that they're going to want to roll out. And pretty soon, they're going to also want to roll out the CBDC, the digital dollar. Just like over in China, they have a digital yuan. They already have all this shit in China. Isn't it crazy that we're trying to be America and yet we're doing everything China's doing? Doesn't that show everybody that there is not a difference in country or whatever? It's all the same, and it's basically the controlling power, the financial backers, the big banks, the BIS, the Bank of International Settlement in Basel, Switzerland, and you have a couple of the other really big banks as well. That's what's going on right now. James, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, once we get the digital ID, it's going to boil down to good subservient citizen, bad citizen, isn't it? It's going to be bad citizen who rails against the government is going to get punished. Maybe they can hold your wages. You know what I mean? Maybe they can make your life difficult. But good citizen, he might see benefits. And that's how they program you, isn't it? Everything's going digital that's going to be controlled by the government, and it's going to break down across those lines. That like I said, with Mexico taking away cash gives you some kind of independence, doesn't it?
Yep.
You know what I mean? It gives you, you're out of that system. But once everyone's integrated in that system, my worry was they were talking about with the digital ID, Tony Blair's son, they were going to hold all our medical records in one position. That's going to get hacked, and then everyone's going to have access to all our medical records.
That's the goal.
You know what I mean? So that's how it's going to break down.
Yeah,
they're going to have
is a lie.
They're going to have every detail about our life. They're going to be able to get it at the click of a button. It's going to be exposed to any kind of foreign agent and foreign hacker. And that's the kind of world that we're moving into. They're taking away any form of independence we have and turning us into government dependence.
Yeah. We got Hillbilly Harry in the chat. He says, Carrie, we were fighting them over there so we don't have to fight them over here, or so we were told. Yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. And the reason why is because the more we fight them, the more we create people who hate us. Think about that for a minute. If we didn't blockade Iran for 35 years, maybe they wouldn't hate us so much. We got Reverend Dahl. He's in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome. He says, LOL, in Germany, we were told we defend our democracy in Afghanistan. Yeah, that doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Why would we do that? That's what I'm trying to say when they try to explain this stuff from a political point of view. It makes no sense because they're lying. They're doing all of this from an economic and a financial point of view, and they have a plan in place that they're trying to break the world into these 7 different zones in the future, and then set up a small economic zone within each one of those little groups in a little bubble. That's what's going on.
Nothing good has ever come from the European Union or the United Nations.
I agree with that. I completely agree.
You've got people like Mark Rutte. Mark Rutte is a corrupt fuck. Just ask Eva Vlaardinabroek. He went, I think he was the Prime Minister or President of Holland, and then he was straight in, his job with the United Nations. And they're always looking to expand their borders. They're looking to expand Europe. There's countries that are in the European Union that have got no right to be in there. Shouldn't be in there.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You don't get a choice to vote your way out of it. It's not political, people. I'm telling you that. We voted in Trump to try to counteract this. And what does he do? He does exactly what they want him to do. He does the opposite of what he was voted in for, okay? He said no more wars. He goes to war. We said mass deportation. He doesn't deport. We said build the fucking wall. He doesn't build the fucking wall. And here he brags about everything. I don't need the bro. The bro needs to go. That's all I got to say. But James, let's end this on a positive spin. How do you opt out of this? How do you become independent? Well, number one, my strategy is take back your kitchen, people. Learn to cook. Get good food. If you got a good woman, encourage her to cook, help her out, support her to cook. If she's the one that's going to be in the kitchen, get her good toys, get her good things to cook with, get her fun recipes. When she cooks something good, shower her with praise so she's encouraged to do it more. Hopefully you already have a woman like that. And if you're a single guy like me and James over here, learn to cook yourself, or find a couple of people that in your family that do cook and go support them. Leading to number 2, reinstitute the 3-generation family. You need that 3-tier family. You got the kids, you got the parents, you got the grandparents. That's what you need. I don't have it. I don't know if James has it, but it's going to start with me. I'm going to start doing that. When I have kids, I'm going to keep them. I'm going to become the grandparent. Blah blah blah. Get that 3-generation family, okay? And also there was one more. I forgot what it was off the top of my head. But we'll just say there's 2 points right there, is to focus on controlling your own food and try to get your family back together. There was a time in America, James, there was a time, believe it or not, that we used to have Thanksgiving dinner, and we'd have the weird uncles and the weird aunts that we didn't agree with, but they could still come hang out. They would be fun. They would have a good time.
Not anymore.
But not anymore, right? Now it's you got the wrong hair color, or you said the wrong thing, or you supported Trump back in 2016, or you're too masculine, or you don't, whatever it is, and that destroys the entire family. That's what these people want to happen. Because
it's these institutions make our opinions more polarized. Like I said, with Ruta and NATO and fucking UN and the European Union, none of these institutions are built for harmony. They're built for disharmony. They want to sow discontent. You know what I mean? Because then they can implement the society that they want to implement, because we're always at each other's throats. They want us to hate each other. And people like me and Ray, we're a bit more rational. We're a bit more professional. We're a bit more disciplined. We could break bread with anyone. You know what I mean? Within reason. Within reason.
Yeah, I can agree with anyone who is family first, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't care what nationality, what religion. If you're family first, then we see eye to eye, okay? The people who say it takes a village to raise a child are communists, and they don't want your family to be a family. They want to steal the wealth of your children and steal the youth of their lives. That's the wealth. The wealth of the children is their youth, their potential, their output, their desires, the work of their brow, all of that stuff. So you got to protect that.
So you send your kids to university in this country. They're government indoctrination factories.
Yeah,
that's all they are. 4 years, and your kid will be completely different. You won't recognize it when they come out of university.
Yeah, and especially the young ladies, because they're very susceptible to this kind of stuff, because they want to have in-group preference, and they want to conform to the group. That's the way women are genetically, and there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure that you build a good relationship with your family. Keep that family together. The 3-generation family is the way. Pat agrees with me. Let's go. If Pat agrees, then it's got to be true. All right, everybody, we're about ready to get out of here. Thanks, all you beautiful people, for being here with us on this Saturday, having a kick-ass stream right now. James, what are your final thoughts, and where can people find you when you're not on stream?
You can find me at James Domenico Grabham81 on all the socials. Give me a follow if you want. If you don't, it's no worries. I'll still be your pal. I'm not an arsehole. And have a fun weekend with your friends or your family, or if you're on your own, find something fun and entertaining to do. Like Ray said, maybe, make some food, go out and have a run, do something,
100%.
Grab an ice cream. I'm going to watch the Fury Makhmudov fight, and have a good one.
I'm going to have a good rest of my day. We got King Yeti in the chat. He says the children belong to the community. Get the fuck out of here. With that said, the community isn't going to feed or clothe or teach or care or love any of my kids. 100%. The strongest power in the fucking world is a parent's love for their child. That is undeniable. That shit will change a nation, okay? That's the power. That's how we win. A parent's love for a child.
You got to keep your eye on these teachers, because they're insidious. Your kid can go to school as Andrew and he'll come out as Andrea in the blink of an eye. They're like fucking these teachers. I've seen it. I've seen these videos. They're going, someone said there should be no age to talk about sex and sexuality with children. Some of these teachers, they get themselves in these places. They become teachers. They get themselves in the churches. They get themselves in the scout movements. Yeah, they're hiding in plain sight. You've got to be eagle-eyed. You've got to be vigilant. You've got to make sure that you've got to keep an eye on your kids to make sure these insidious fucks don't get anywhere near them.
100%. And if at all possible, educate your children at home or in a place that you approve of. Don't just send them out there with no research and get fucked up in a public school. Seen it a whole bunch of times. But anyway, enough about that. Everybody kick some ass today. Go out there. Have a great Saturday. Okay, I'm going off to a birthday party here pretty soon. Gonna have fun with that.
Sweet, nice one.
Thanks everybody for jumping in with us and go have a good time. We're out of here.